What's the stupidest thing you've seen a grown-ass adult get angry over? Not being allowed to watch porn on the computers in the children's section of the public library. The children's computers had a content filter on them to prevent this sort of thing from happening. However, this dude brought a flash drive with his favorite videos on it, and when the computers in the non-children's section were all in use, he decided that the best course of action was to go over to where there were a number of young kids working on homework and playing Minecraft. When a librarian told him he couldn't do that on those computers and asked him to leave, he flipped out, accused the librarian of being a pedophile and a rapist, and threatened to both sue and stab everyone who worked at the library. The cops were called and they ended up having to chase him to get him to leave. Once had a woman send 5 to 8 years old kids into the pop-up Halloween store I worked at, with her debit card, so they could buy whatever they wanted. The son of course immediately has no idea where the debit card is. Calls his mom. Mom comes flying into the store literally screaming at the top of her lungs that I specifically must have stolen it, because I was both the floor supervisor and cashier at the time. Told her there were cameras pointed at each register and I hadn't moved from my station for over half an hour, but I would help her look for it. She didn't believe me, and called the cops on me. Because it was now an accusation of employee theft, even though I was the only one accused, none of the employees were allowed to leave the building. It took the police 20 minutes to show up, way past closing. We were all miserable and we just wanted to go home. All I could do was apologize profusely. We couldn't even stand outside because she was there, standing directly in front of the doors, staring through the glass at us with unbridled fury. A single cop finally showed up and she already looked fed up. She took all our statements, looked over the CCTV, told the woman to deactivate her card and go to the bank in the morning. The woman finally left, threatening me the entire time, and the cop hung out with us for a couple minutes shooting the shit and making fun of the whole situation. Real chill lady. 10 minutes later, as the cop is scooping up her paperwork, the phone rings and my coworker answers. It's the woman. She found her card. It was on her kitchen table. She forgot to give it to her son. She tried to ruin a young 20-something's life because she refused to believe she could be so careless with her own money and didn't even think to check her own house first. She never apologized. Not having a specific toy, Hatchimals, in stock at the store I work at on Christmas Eve in 2017. We got those fuckers in almost every day, and they sold out within a couple of hours of being opened without fail. This bitch was having a full-on hissy fit because we ruined her daughter's Christmas. No, Tracy, you ruined her Christmas. It's not our fault we don't have any in stock at 5:30 PM the day before Christmas, you fucking space cadet. My grown-ass cousin got angry at her 5-year-old niece for liking unicorns because she, adult cousin, liked them first. Shouldn't that be something to bond over? Some fucking people. Had a boss who took a trip to the college football championship game. His tickets were like $1,500 each. When he got back we asked him how his trip went. In a high-pitched whine he said everything sucked because his nachos were cold. Can you imagine how much life must suck for someone like that? I mean, if nachos are able to completely ruin an expensive trip like that, it must be impossible to find anything that matches his standards for having a good time. Yes, but he probably prefers to be outraged all the time. It's his form of happiness. When people are bad drivers I always give them a disappointed look and a thumbs down. For some reason people lose their shit and it makes my day. Was working for a print shop. One of our customers started crying because his envelopes weren't the right shade of off-white. He was a lawyer. My dad got pissed off that I got his umbrella wet. You dick. My mother is currently angry as fuck at my wife and I for following her advice and getting a dog to help with my anxiety. Why is she angry? Because we got a big lab. Why is this idiotic? Because she wanted us to get a tiny lap dog. Even though her dog hates anything that's of its size or smaller. Dog is doing wonders for my anxiety. Mother not so much. Worked customer service at a grocery store. Woman brings in fucking boxes of canned goods and cereal boxes. No receipt. She says she bought them for a donation but forgot. Just for giggles I scan the item to return and it's not in our system. I take a look at the cans. Expiration date 2005, it was 2008. Look at the cereal boxes. Expiration date 2007. I explained that we can't return her goods because they were purchased a long time ago. And even if I wanted to, they don't scan into the system. She throws a fit. Straight screaming about terrible customer service, getting the attention of everyone in the store. My manager comes over and she screams he won't return my goods. My manager says to just do it. I tell him to look at the expiration date, and he says to the lady, "I'm sorry, but you can't just clean out your pantry and expect to return expired goods." She yelled some more before storming off and leaving all the stuff sitting on the counter. To this day I don't understand how a 40-something adult thought they would get away with that. You fucking space cadet.